What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns climbing up on top of my soapbox for yet another rant, as with tradition on most Sundays. Today, we are talking about the missions in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, I, for one, love grinding missions, because I am high enough with all three of my characters, Janine on the Xbox One, as well as Cynthia also on the Xbox One, and GB over on the PlayStation 4, to where I can do the high-paying missions, especially those that are a lot easier to do on hard with an attack helicopter, be it the Buzzard or the Savage. Like Trash Talk, Denial of Service, Defender, Artificial Scarcity, On the List, mixed up with Coke, and a few other missions as well. Especially when you're having trouble finding three other people to do a heist with, whether it's friends, fans, viewers, subscribers, or just random people. Because I really would like to earn double RP and double Grand Theft Auto currency doing these heist missions, but it's rather difficult to just round up 2 or 3 people because everyone's busy doing other things this summer. So unless I can find 3 other people that I can rely on to go from the very beginning all the way through the setups and to the finale when it comes to heists, most of the time I stick with missions when it comes to grinding in Grand Theft Auto Online to raise the necessary funds for the next DLC. So as with all my rants, I go over the pros, the cons, and my own personal solutions on how to improve missions, for example. First off, I don't like the fact that there hasn't been any new Rockstar created online missions in quite some time, about a year. That's right, the last 2 missions we got from Rockstar was Chop Chop and Effin' Lasers, which came out with the Flight School DLC nearly a year ago. So you can imagine how boring it starts to get when you grind Trash Talk and all the others over again and again. And even if you have a few of them like I do, at least 4 or 5 that I regularly do, even other ones like Blow Up and Blow Up 3, Rooftop Rumble, Titan of a Job, All in the Game, Ballas to the Wall, eventually you get to the point where you're craving something different, something new, something more challenging, something more rewarding when it comes to both RP and the dollars. That's right, so I can fill up my Maze Bank account even faster. Now I realize Rockstar is busy coming up with the next new DLC, whether it's going to be in August or September or perhaps Halloween. Yeah, Rockstar, I would really love a Halloween DLC. I think I've mentioned that once or twice over the past few weeks. Anyways, how about something a little bit simpler than creating completely new missions? Why not sequels, like similar to what we just talked about, Blow Up 1, 3, and 2. I really don't like 2, but anyways, why not sequels to Trash Talk, like Trash Talk 2, which is a little bit more difficult than the first Trash Talk, or a Rooftop Rumble 2 or 3? I realize, Rockstar, you guys have gone in and tweaked the hell out of Rooftop Rumble as well as Coveted way too many times, but instead of tweaking them, why not just make a Part 2, a Part 3, and each one is a little bit more difficult than the next. The same thing for like Defender, Denial of Service 2, etc. And that way, even though they're more difficult, more challenging than the original version of Trash Talk, Rooftop Rumble, they are at the same time more rewarding, as we talked about a moment ago. So Trash Talk 2 would be a little bit more challenging than Trash Talk 1, but at the same time, if you complete it, you will be rewarded with more RP and more Grand Theft Auto currency. I think you're starting to get the idea. Another thing I would like to see undone is the replay button. Now, there was a time when you could replay missions after you finished them when you went to the voting screen, but because gamers were grinding those missions like crazy, especially Rooftop Rumble, Rockstar deactivated the replay button on specifically missions. You can still do it with races and death matches and LTSs and captures, but when it comes to the missions, you have to exit and start back over in order to go back into grinding Trash Talk or any other mission that you enjoy playing over and over again. Especially since heists have been out since March on last and current gen consoles, most players now like to go and do heist missions to raise money, or they do the snipers versus stunners, or the other versus LTSs. So there really isn't a need to keep the replay option for missions deactivated. In fact, after you guys tweak the mission payout where by not rushing through a mission, by taking your time, you get paid more, thus negating the reason for having the replay button deactivated when it comes to missions. There's no need for it anymore, Rockstar. A lot of us would like to be able to replay Trash Talk or Rooftop Rumble, Denial of Service, Titan of a Job as many times as we want without having to pick another mission or go back into free mode and start the process all over again. So bring back the replay option for missions and allow me to play Trash Talk back to back to back as many damn times as my heart desires. Next is adding a new difficulty to the missions, which would mean more money and RP. Now we have easy mode, we have normal, we have hard. Hard currently pays out the most, but I want to take it a step further. I want to add an extreme difficulty that means no lives. If you get through the mission without dying, you get double money, double RP, but if you die during the mission, you have no extra life. When you're dead, you're done. Mission fail, you have to start over. By the way, feel free to chime in below in the comment section with your own ideas on ways to improve the missions in Grand Theft Auto Online, as well as which ideas that I presented today in this rant that you like and which ones you might not like. Let me know below in the comment section. My next idea revolves around the weather and time of day in missions. Now, missions are set up a little bit differently. Some of them are set at a specific time with specific weather. Others are dependent on what time it is on the game clock in free mode. Now, in races and some of the other events, you can actually set the time and the weather. You can set whether it's morning, noon, or night. Or you can be clear skies, it can be raining. I would like the same option when it comes to missions in Grand Theft Auto Online. The ability to play Trash Talk during the daytime, even if it's 1 o'clock in the morning in free mode, I would still like to be able to play Trash Talk, set the time at noon, and have it with clear sunny skies each and every time I play it. Very similar to the races, to the LTSs, and death matches. In other words, I'm not asking too much, Rockstar. I just want some new, fun, challenging missions, sequels to current missions, the ability to replay missions in the voting screen, adding an extreme difficulty with double payout, double RP, but 0 lives, setting the weather and time, and a mission creator. Oh, that's right, we haven't got to that yet. Well, no time like the present right now. I realize this is probably not going to happen because of the risk of it being exploited, abused, and misused by the cheaters out there in the Grand Theft Auto community. But I think to Rockstar's credit, they've learned from the exploits done by the Capture creator and the LTS creator, and they figured out some safeguards to put in place in order to prevent most of the creators out there from using the mission creator for nefarious, illegal purposes. Now, how would this theoretical mission creator work, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I envision 3 modes very similar to the modes in the Capture creator. You would have a steal mode, an escort mode, and a destroy mode, which is obviously my favorite. Now, throughout the standard mission, you always have several objectives you have to accomplish before you can complete the mission. The same thing would be here in each mission you create. The more objectives you put in a mission, the longer it's going to take, the more difficult it's going to be, and that would also equal more RP and more money earned at the end of a created mission. On the flip side, if you were to create a short mission with less objectives and targets, that would equate to less RP and less Grand Theft Auto currency earned when you completed that mission. It's pretty simple to understand. The longer missions with more objectives, targets, longer, lengthier, more difficult, would net you more Grand Theft Auto currency and more RP, and the short ones would earn you even less. In other words, the mission creator would encourage the makers, the creators, to make their missions as long and as difficult as possible in order for gamers to reap said RP and financial rewards upon completion. Plus, who doesn't like a challenge, right? Okay, so let's get into the 3 modes, the 3 categories that you could select for your mission creation. First off, steal mode, where you and your friends, or you can play by yourself if you want to, You start the mission. One of the contacts you would select is either Gerald, Lamar, Lester, Ron, Trevor, Martin, etc. as the mission contact. They would send a message to everybody, go to such and such location, pick up this vehicle or those vehicles or these packages, and get them back to the warehouse or get them back to here or there. And by going over there, picking up the packages, not getting killed by enemy NPCs, and successfully delivering the stolen items, be it a package or a vehicle or vehicles or packages, you would successfully complete the steal mode missions. Next is the escort mission. This one involves an NPC that you have to rescue, protect, and return to base without the NPC dying or you running out of lives. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you could also use this mission creator to pay homage to previous missions from previous Grand Theft Auto games. Like, for example, there is a mission in Grand Theft Auto 3 where you have to pick up hookers and prostitutes, and they're all scattered around town, and you have to pick them all up within a certain amount of time, and you have to get them to the policeman's ball in order to complete the mission. You could do something very similar with escort mode in the mission creator. And of course, the third mod option that you'd have to choose from is probably my personal favorite, because these are some of my favorite missions I've mentioned a few times. Destroy mode. You put specific targets around the map, whether they're vehicles or NPCs, and you have to go destroy them. Whether it's timed or not timed is entirely up to the creator's discretion. And of course, if there's more targets to destroy, if it's more difficult, more time consuming to destroy these targets, obviously you're going to get way more RP and way more Grand Theft Auto currency. Basically, the mission creator is borrowing a lot of stuff from the capture creator. The ability to pick out the actors or enemy NPCs, barriers, objects, vehicles, weapons. But the big difference is with capture, it's always player versus player, while with missions, it's all about cooperation, working together with your teammates or going it alone in order to successfully accomplish the mission. And one final thought concerning missions: adversary modes and versus missions really need separate icons. As long as it's something other than that blue star, which is supposed to represent contact missions, that would be terrific.